I'm Jeff Cornwall, and this is the Entrepreneurial Mind. Today, my guest is Josh Nikols. We'll be back to talk with him after this.
Talkapolis programming is sponsored in part by the Vein Center, now celebrating 10 years service in Nashville, Tennessee.
Welcome, Josh.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So you are in the middle of the wild and crazy world of venture capital and life sciences, and talk a little bit about your technology. Let's start with that.
Sure. No, company is called InvisionHeart, and we're developing a 12-lead ECG system. Very small form factor, very affordable, and very deployable.
Hold on. All right. So I have no idea what you just said. So what does that mean?
Sure. 12-lead EKG is a way of capturing a high-resolution picture of a patient's cardiac status.
Got it.
If you have heart disease or you're a chronic heart patient, the first thing that you'll receive in going into a hospital or a clinic is a 12-lead EKG. It's a fundamental diagnostic tool, only second to urinalysis or blood chemistries. The problem that we have encountered in the market is that the EKGs that are conventionally available are very large, tend to be very expensive,
right,
and are disconnected from server-based systems or hospital systems. And so what we've developed is a very small form factor device that can be used in a home health setting, a long-term care facility, a skilled nursing facility, allowing for patient or for physician extenders to reach out in the community, work with patients who are outside of the hospital.
Because traditional EKG, I mean, it rolls in a cart, and
that's exactly right.
And it's difficult to set up. And
right. And, you know, we have a healthcare system where there's a lot of pressure on hospitals to serve patients, and so you have patients who are being referred into hospitals for what should be a really routine ECG or EKG. There's no necessarily a reason for doing that when we can take the same technology and put it in the hands of a nurse or a technician and enable a doc remotely to read that EKG.
So this small device can be used, as you said, by a home health nurse, and
That's right.
I mean, the implications for that with where healthcare is going are, your investors must be pretty excited about this.
They are, and we are. We think there's a lot of opportunity to change the way that patients are worked with.
So you have a science background and a business background. So I know you got this technology from Vanderbilt. How did you identify this as something that has a market opportunity? Because they have probably thousands of really cool technologies over there, and mining those out that have marketability can be a challenge.
Right. So, you know, to quote a friend, it's really hard sitting inside of an office to try to figure out the next problem to tackle either in healthcare or elsewhere.
Right.
You really have to work with people who are living on the front lines of it. And we worked with a number of very smart physicians who said, this is a real stumbling point for us in terms of patient care and process of delivery of that care. And EKG has always been a challenge for us to get a hold of. And there are any number of anecdotes that I can point to, either taking an EKG inside of an OR and having to wait 20 or 30 minutes to receive that, or never seeing a patient for 2 years because they live in a remote area of the country and can't get in to see a cardiologist or somebody in the hospital. There's a real opportunity, again, to change the way that we work with patients, and we see this as one aspect of that.
So is this some technology that you worked on when you were at Vanderbilt, or did you find this problem and then, I mean, specifically, how did you find this piece of technology that you're exploiting here?
Yeah, so this is actually about third early stage company that I've been with. Worked alongside of a couple of venture groups in an earlier organization, and that led to some relationships at Vanderbilt that were really instrumental in helping us identify this opportunity. It was technology that was being developed inside of the engineering school, but for a different purpose. And we said, sure, that's an interesting application, something called orthostatic hypotension. But we said there's a much, much larger problem on the horizon, working with patients who are cardiac patients, taking their cardiac signature and being able to relay that is a major stumbling point. And so we worked with the inventor and my co-founders to say, let's massage this into a technology that's going to be commercially acceptable, commercially available.
And then you also have to work with Vanderbilt to give you the rights for it within that scope as well.
We sure do. So we got down the road of identifying.
And that's not always an easy process to do.
No, so the Vanderbilt has a vested interest in making sure that the technologies that are nurtured inside of the institution have a real shot at getting out and being commercialized. And so
Right.
there are a number of things that they're interested in seeing, that there's a credible team behind it, that there's the ability to raise capital, that there's a real market opportunity, and you understand basically what you're getting into. And so those were some of the things that they had asked for and that we, during the course of licensing the technology from Vanderbilt, had to demonstrate to them, along with a little bit of money to get things out the door.
So you had been working with some of these investors on previous deals, and so in some ways you kind of came in as a team to exploit something new?
I stepped away, partially away from that investor group, but had a really good relationship with them. Worked on this independently as an entrepreneur, of course, for some time, and then came back and said, you know, this is something that's really interesting. I would like you to take a look at it. After showing that to them a number of times and talking with them about the unmet need, eventually able to coax them into investing in our company, and I think that they're very happy that they did.
So, so talk about that process a little bit. How did you sell the investors on this deal? What made it successful for you? Because that, you know, I know I've had a lot of good friends who've worked with some of the venture capitalists in town, and they always talk about the light switch finally going on with these guys. Kind of, how did you go through that process to sell them?
I think, you know, fundamentally it is a process of developing a relationship and trust with them. You know, the first discussion about the technology is never going to, you know, hook them into saying, okay, we're ready.
They're probably
to invest.
eyeing you up more than anything else at that point.
That's right. Are you a stable person? Are you going to, you know, continue to move this project forward? Are you really committed to it, or are you going to, you know, lose focus over time? And I think that what part of what we brought to the table was we showed that, you know, with a little bit of money, we made a tremendous amount of progress early. We participated, by the way, in the Jumpstart Foundry program in 2013, and that was a huge leg up in getting the technology built and the team pulled together and the, you know, the first prototypes built. So
did that result in some angel money on the back end of that? Okay.
That did. So we raised a good size round of angel capital that went into prototyping and initial FDA filing applications, and thereafter raised an institutional round that helped us accelerate that development timeline.
So have you done an A round yet, or?
We have. We closed our A in 2014.
Okay.
We're in the process of raising another round.
Right.
Of course, as an early stage company, you're
Right.
always out looking for more capital to support your business. And we, most excitingly, now have FDA clearance that allows us to market our technology.
So you could move pretty quickly at this point.
We can. So we have a pretty amazing team. We have a group of people who have a lot of experience in both development and commercialization, and we're now in the market pushing hard in places where we think that there's a lot of immediate value that our technology brings to their clinical setting.
Very good. Fascinating story. Can we get you back when we're
Love to.
When we're into market and starting to build the organization?
Love to. That'd be wonderful.
Thanks for coming in, Josh.
Thank you.